Welcome to the Comic Book Theorist. This is your boy Leo, the Comic Book Theorist, and in this video of turning a bad idea into a good one, we're going to be looking at the Aquaman villain, the Fisherman. So like always guys, at the end of this video, I'm going to give you guys my pitch or my idea for this character. But before that, I'm going to give you a reason why this character was disapproved or wasn't really well accepted by the audience. And also besides that, I'm going to give you a quick little backstory of who this character was or is. And also besides that, I'm going to give you a quick idea of his powers and abilities. But in that case, let's get right into it. So in this case guys, the reason why this character was not accepted by the audience or had so much disapproval is the concept of basically Aquaman fighting a fisherman or somebody by the name of the Fisherman seems too ironic, and many people felt like this was too little effort put into the character or put into the idea of Fisherman. And also besides that, look at him, them legs, like ooh, look like he's a model. Should he be fighting Aquaman or should he be on the cover of Vogue? And don't even get me started on them rubber leggings, like ooh, makes them legs shine like them. Alright, but moving along. So here's a little quick backstory of who this character was, and he was created by Henry Boltinoff and Nick Cardy. His first appearance was on Aquaman number 21 in May 1965, and his last appearance was in Aquaman Sword of Atlantis number 48 and 49 2007, written by Kurt Busiek, reimagined, where he was basically a underwater villain, and on top of that his helmet was actually a xenomorph parasite manipulating the Fisherman himself. And just to give you a quick backstory besides that, he is basically a thief who specializes in stealing high-tech equipment and then selling it on the black market, and his power set is really nothing. He's just a regular person with a lot of gadgets. Well, that was his overall abilities and powers in the history of DC Comics so far. So in this case guys, let me give you my pitch or my idea of how to make this character better or more interesting or even more compelling. So guys, in this case, let me give you a quick little story I had in mind. Basically, the Fisherman would, instead of being a robber or a high-tech thief, he's going to be an Atlantean trafficker, where basically he kidnaps or hunts down Atlanteans and then he sells them off to certain parties or groups who requested them. Where in this case, by day, he's just a simple lonely fisherman, which he got his nickname by the fellow villagers or neighbors that live around him, as they always see him fishing every day and they just call him the Fisherman, where he's just a quiet old man and he just go out and sea and he just fishes every day. But in this case, in reality, he has a deep hatred towards Atlanteans since they ruined his career, where he was basically a very important military figure, and he discovered them during one voyage or one travel, and he tried to expose them to the government and to the military, but they never showed themselves and they basically hid themselves from him, as this led him to look like a crazy man and made him look like a liar, as this ruined his reputation. People thought he was just crazy, and in the end he just became really obsessed with Atlanteans and underwater creatures. And in this case, he became so obsessed with the idea or with the whole culture of Atlanteans that he even experimented on himself by replicating certain abilities and powers that Atlanteans have on himself, where basically he can swim underwater, he can breathe underwater, and his strength is also multiplied as well due to this experiment. And in this case, he's basically a hunter, where he enjoys psychologically torturing his prey by hurting them where it hurts, by taking away the things they love or hurting the things that they love, and also using their fear against them. And also on top of that, to make matters worse, he actually enjoys eating Atlanteans. So besides hunting them, he eats them as well as if it was food. And also besides that, he is an expert combatant. He's an expert marksman, weapon specialist, due to the time he had in the military and all the missions he experienced while in the military. And also besides that, out of respect for the previous writer who worked on the Fisherman character, Kurt Busiek, the helmet that he had in that story would continue in this story, where he's a parasite, but he's a companion or pet of the Fisherman, where they work together. And the parasite can actually expand in size and attack and become an actual threat to whoever is attacking its owner, in this case the Fisherman. So in this case, the benefits of this story, I feel like, is the fact that this gives a different atmosphere or vibe to Aquaman in his comics. Again, the whole concept of this character is not to change what Aquaman stands for, what his story is about. It's just to give a story that's different from all the other stories, like a little moment of terror, a little moment of fear, as Aquaman is upset as his people is being hunted down and if they become prey to this crazy man. Where in this situation, the Atlanteans, they feel like they're very overpowered, they can do anything that they want, they're more powerful than the US or any land creatures, and the fact that this man just comes up and starts hunting them down and eating them, it brings fear and it really brings realization that they're not so powerful as they thought they were. And in this case, this little twist at the end, the people that the Fisherman actually hunts down and kidnaps, he actually gives them over to the world government, where they actually dissect them and start experimenting on them. And in this case, this would actually lead into a plot plot where the Justice League would have to choose to go against the corrupt and manipulative government and help Aquaman, as this would lead into a war between the Justice League and the people that they're trying to protect, or in this case Earth itself, which again is just an idea. You guys let me know if this is a bad idea or this idea can be worked on, or it's a good idea to actually implement in a future comic book or in a future story arc. And again, of course, I just want to clarify this. I don't want this villain to change the whole concept of what Aquaman stands for or what his comic is about, as this is only simply being used to help teach Aquaman or his people that they're normal people as well as to make the reader sympathize with them as they're being hunted and they're very fearful for their own lives, and the fact that they're scared of what's going on outside of their own country or their own world. And also on top of that, the Justice League themselves, I feel like up to this point they haven't really sympathized with the Atlanteans, because that's usually handled by Aquaman. But the fact that this story would weave into the Justice League having to protect Atlanta from the actual world, it actually helps them sympathize and become more connected with the Atlanteans. But in this case, guys, like I mentioned before, this is only a pitch or an idea where this can be one of many options. And if you believe there would be a better option or better idea, let me know in the comments down below. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, comment down below as well. Please share, like, and subscribe, as I'll be doing much more videos in the future. And besides that, this has been your comic book theorist, and I'll see you guys next time. Deuces.